Well, south of the video store is a show called Our Five Stones. We got Andrew and me and a friend Cody. We're gonna Cody?
Where is he? I want to
Cody?
see Mr. Producer
Where are
Man.
you, Cody? Cody! I always think of like the animal moments when they do Bohemian Rhapsody. It's just like, Mama, you, Mama.
Oh, that's actually really good. Hey guys, welcome back to Off Our Stones. As you can see, Cody's not here this episode. Family things came up, personal life things came up.
It's summer. If you've been in this community for as long as we have, you've realized that summer is often the busiest times. It's tough to get things scheduled.
Yeah, but we still wanted to give you something this week to hold you over until the finale. We also noticed that there was going to be somehow 29 episodes, and we were like, "Ooh, that's an odd number to end on, so we'll just round it up." So, what Brooklyn and I are going to be doing this episode is something that we are going to be calling the wish list. These are 5 songs each that we wish would have made our respective lists in one way or another. Sometimes when you make a top 500 songs list, there are some that you discover after. There are some that you completely forgot about when making your list. So these are the songs that we goofed up on.
Yeah, so whenever I was doing this wish list, I tried to keep it within the context of like songs that I should have considered at the time of making it, because like obviously discovering new songs, like there's one song that I really want to shout out in particular. If I had heard of Sarah by the Slackers before making this list, that absolutely would have made it, but like I didn't count it in this regard because like I wouldn't have even heard of the band and in preparation of this. So I try to keep it as like I would have at least heard of these songs before making the 500 list.
Yeah. So that's going to be the basic idea of this episode. And we're going to start with one of my songs. I've actually talked about this before on the show. When I used my veto on Maybelline, I said that my veto option was between Right Down the Line by Jerry Rafferty and this song, that song being Turn the Page, the live version by Bob Seger and the Silver Bullets. This is a song that really I've never toured. I don't have money. I can't do that shit. But I've never toured. But this song, I feel like, captures just the absolute downer side of being a high-profile band touring the country. And I think it just captures that weariness really well. Bob Seger just sounds absolutely fantastic on this song. He's kind of in his lower register, so he sounds tired, but still powerful. I love that saxophone. Holy crap, that thing is just absolutely perfect for setting the tone of this song. And some of the lyrics, when you're strung out from the road, and the eyes are I should have pulled that lyric up. But like the one where he goes into a restaurant and everyone like turns their head and they're like, "Is that a woman or a man?" Because of the long hair that he had at the time.
Yeah.
The little details like that, I think, just really capture the mood and the energy that this song was going for. And if I had to remake my list, this ballpark wise would probably be in the 300s for me.
Yeah, I think that this style of song definitely made the list. Like "Journeys Faithfully" was the first song that popped up in my head whenever this came on. But the correlation that I make, and I think Payson will actually really enjoy this. If you really like the movie Alien, like the first Alien, I think that you will adore this song because I get sort of the similar vibes, and like that's why the saxophone works so well. Because considering how subdued Bob Seger is in his delivery, the saxophone is the only thing that's kind of like matching what would be like a familiar sound for a lot of people. But like when you get to like that last like 10, 15 seconds and he's really wailing, that's like, okay, like this is kind of make like all that setup is kind of worthwhile now, because now you have that familiar raspiness and he's really matching it. Yeah, like this is one that always comes on. I think this was in consideration for my 500, but I think at the time it was a cut. I think it could make the list, but I'm also not super worried, aforementioned, because of like Faithfully, and I think Beth even made my own 500. I don't think it made the official one, but that was another one that's like road trippy sort of.
Yeah. So that was my first one. Brooklyn, let's move on to one of your songs, "Slow Burn" by Kacey Musgraves.
So I went to my on repeat and I said, what song do I often select most? And it's this one. I think we've talked about it before, but there's a good following this community of Golden Hour, incredible album by Kacey Musgraves, like a lot of good hits. But this is the one that I just overlooked for a while, and I've really come to enjoy the production and the arrangement. Like especially they get to the line like in Beijing, they're headed out to work, and then that's when the drum kit kicks in, and I think that's just so effective. I love the chord progression in it. Like there's one funky chord that kind of separates it from the traditional kind of like country pop. How the strings work. I like the backing vocals when it gets to that like long hold of Burn, and just like how Slow Burn is kind of a song just about being able to kind of take life at a slower pace. Like if you like Vienna, it's kind of in that same vein. Or like there's so many kind of like intimate moments in the song. Like you get the like Grandma Cried When I Pierced My Nose, like even the opening line, Born in a Hurry, Always Late, Haven't Been Early Since '88. Like such a great way to kind of get you immediately into it. But yeah, I think this is just one from an incredible album that I definitely overlooked.
Ballpark wise, where do you think it would fall on your list now?
I would say low 400s, just because of like, I don't know. I think of the songs that made that, of the song from the record that made that list, this would still be the third best.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you in like where you would put it. This one randomly came up for me a few months ago, and I kind of thought to myself, "Oh yeah, this one is really, really good." Kacey just kind of sounds a little bit wiser on this song than she has on albums past. It's a very, and you're right, the production on this is absolutely gorgeous. Probably the best produced song on the album, I would say, but that's arguable.
There's so many though. Like even Velvet Elvis is a great one. What's the other one? High Horse. I think is really good. Like I haven't heard really a song mesh country and disco in that way.
Mm-hmm. It's not my favorite song off of the album. I still think Rainbow is better, but I would have been totally okay with this being on the official list in that area, in like the 400 range. So yeah, great song, guys. Check this one out. All right, let's go to another one of my songs next. That one being Misled by Kool and the Gang. Oh, I'm kicking myself over this one. This is probably the one, aside from Turn the Page, that I might be the most mad at myself for. Because I think a lot of people, when they think Kool and the Gang, they immediately go to like Celebration and like other songs in that vein. This one, there's a dark intensity to this one, especially with like the siren, that kind of like siren sound that goes through it. It's one of those ones where I kind of go, "Hey, Jordan Peele, I found the next song that you can use in your next movie."
Man,
right? Yeah, but also it's just like the guitars in this just go so hard. The vocals on this are one of my favorite performances from Kool and the Gang. As I said, there's just such a dark intensity to it, and that chorus just goes fucking hard. Yeah, the single version or the album version, I would have been happy with. Once again, this actually probably would have been in the high 300s for me if I was doing this again. I really dig this song a lot.
Oh man, I
Go
think for me,
ahead.
I like Cool and the Gang. They have to be able to stay kind of in the mainstream, whether it be through samples or whatnot. I think that this song in particular is just fine. And here's my reason why: is that I believe that a man from Minnesota said, "I really like this sound. I am going to make this my brand, my identity." If you do not know who I refer to, Prince. This absolutely sounds like a Prince song, from the guitars to the synths, everything.
Yeah.
I still think it's a good song, but I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to listen to like Let's Get Crazy or I mean like Purple Rain. So I do think that this sound is represented. It's a good song,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure if it would make made the 500 list for me.
Fair. And you know what? That's a good comparison because it does kind of have a "When Doves Cry" kind of feel to it. I I think it's just one of those things where it goes so hard that I ended up putting it on my workout playlist. So like it works really well for me. Let's move on to another one of your songs, Brooklyn. Let's move on to 5 Years by Bo Burnham.
So while I was looking for songs for this list, I went through my playlist in Spotify because I knew that I knew I had a list of like the last cut of songs that I did, and I found it was Final Cut. So of the songs, so there was this one, there was also Faded by Soul Decision, Jerk by Kim Stockwood, So What, which is a Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and a bunch of other people dig.
Mm-hmm. Great song.
Whiskey Lullaby, the great Brad Paisley and Alison Krauss tune.
Yeah.
Rock the Casbah, which I believe made the list, did it not?
Mm-mm.
No, it didn't.
No.
Damn. Because yeah. Anyways, and then like the deepest cut of the final cut was probably it's a song called "The Levee" by Other Favorites. It's a great like folky bluegrass sort of deal. But 5 Years was also on this list. This would have been in the 490 to 500 spot, given how recent it was. But I do think that like comedy and music needs to be on this list in some way, whether it be through Bo, through Weird Al. I think we got it a little bit with the Digital Underground, and Humpty Dance is probably the funniest song on top of 100 list. But I love the beat of this. Like it's kind of like a parody of the reggaeton, and then I love the like. Um, Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around. Like you say, it's like I say you should get that, and you say no, fuck that. So like just the lines are great. You should have got dim sum when we put in the order. You say you're a psycho. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But yeah, of the songs uh, from the special, even because like there was this one, and I even considered like Microwave Popcorn because that's a great one from the outtakes. I know a lot of people enjoy. I think it's That Funny Feeling. A lot of people say that's their favorite from the record. I think that yeah. To kind of wrap it up, I think Bo Burnham needs to be recognized in some way, whether it's now or later. But yeah, this was definitely in the like. You're definitely in the lower tier of the bunch, but I think you need to be talked about.
So I agree with you that comedy music should be represented in some way or form. I I'm glad that you're not in front of the camera for this because I really disagree. Um,
I'm currently chasing my dog. He has a sock.
that's actually perfect. So I like the premise of this song. It is charming in a way, and there are some funny moments. That spider moment really is funny. Um, it's just one of those things that, like, for me, I'm not going to go back to it for any of the music. It's a little too almost stock reggaeton. Um, but I appreciate why you put it on the list because once again, I do agree with you that comedic music should get a little bit more representation. Um, so for like 490 to 500 on your list, you know what? Good. That's fine. All right, let's move on to the third of my songs, that being James Says by James Addiction. How in the hell did they make Steel Drum sound so sad? Like that's incredible. I don't think I've ever heard that before. It's like that rare moment when you can make a sad song using a ukulele. Um, and there's just so many moments lyrically that are so vivid in its detail that it really does paint this character of Jane in a light that you really empathize with her and you like there's absolute like heartbreak um over her story um and it's such a like musically it's kind of simple kind of once again the sad steel drums miraculous but it's just such a great character piece with really heartfelt lyrics, good emotional musicianship, and whenever it comes on, it's one that I kind of always tend to forget about. But the moment it comes on, I go, "Oh yeah, the song's incredible."
I don't feel the same way. I'm sorry. Um, I I get to that first lick, and it's like, okay, cool, and it keeps going, and it just stays at that same one. I could definitely understand like I didn't take a time to like look into the lyrics of this because like this is kind of brutal, but it's kind of hard to hear what they're talking about because of the production and whatnot.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand that.
but yeah, it's just not for me. I know the song gets talked about. Um, this would not be the song that I would select from the record because in the process of listening to this song, I got to the last two songs, and Pigs and Zen is incredible. That would be one that I would probably consider from that list. But yeah, this I feel bad because I feel like I'm going to get a lot of slack for it, considering that this should be a song like from my era. Um, but yeah, whether it was radio that killed it, but yeah, I like it because in theory it's doing stuff that the songs that are already on the list are doing. Like it has that same two chord structure that like Dreams does incredibly well. So yeah, there are aspects to it. It's just not for me.
And I can understand that. Once again, I think it's just like the lyrical story of it all that gets to me. I'm a theater nerd. Like that, if you do that well, you're always going to get me. I probably would have put this in like the high 400s. It probably wouldn't have been very high on my list, but enough that it makes an impact for me. All right, let's move on to another one of your songs, Brooklyn, Tennessee Waltz by Patty Page. Tell me more
So
about
this
this
is
one.
this is a song that I wish I did a bit more of a deep dive whenever I first heard it. First time I heard it, if you're familiar with like Tom McLean when we had him on, so he plays sometimes with his father-in-law. His name's Gordon Belcher. And he does a lot of like these like Celtic songs, but then he does this and a couple like Beatles tunes in the mix to kind of keep it fresh. And when I first heard the song, I was like, whatever. It's a standard sort of like 3-4 song. And then we were home with my son one night, and the original, like this Patty Page version came on, and I was like, oh, this is a beautiful song. I love the pace of it. I really like that muted trumpet and the piano, and I think the harmony is incredible. And I really like the story because it kind of has a similar tone as like Operator, where it's about like
Mm.
somebody somebody kind of having like an affair, or like messing around with somebody else. But yeah, here I just gotta pull up the lyrics here. My page, maybe you can help me. But you gab for a little bit, and I'll find the line.
Sure. So I'm not very familiar with Patti Page. They're somebody that I've heard their name like once or twice when it comes to like like country music. Um, and this song is very pretty. I think that this is just one that's like so new for me that I hadn't heard it until yesterday. Um, so I feel like if I let this one simmer a bit more, I'd probably grow fonder of it. It's just a little too fresh for me, but I can I can see where you're coming from. Where would you put
I
it, though?
think I would put this between like 325 and 250.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that you will really like this song. Like, I think you will have a similar effect as to what you did with me and Elvis Costello.
Okay. Do you got those lyrics?
Oh yeah, like there wasn't anything really that kind of stood out. But as I was looking at it, I remembered the ending and how it so gracefully falls off. But yeah, like I really enjoy different interpretations of this. And then sometimes, like whenever you play this at work, like you'll see the odd couple dance to it, and it's just like it's a really sweet sort of charming moment. I've definitely gotten a lot softer since I've become a dad. I love these like super like cheesy ham-filled moments.
Fair. Yeah, it's a very pretty song.
Yeah.
So, moving on to something that is wildly different from
Yes.
my songs, Face to Face by Daft Punk. This is another one that I'm kind of like mad at myself for not thinking of when I made my list. I do still think One More Time deserves to be on the list, but this one is kind of one of those ones that I put on my list because of how much of an achievement this one is. Because those sections where there's like no vocals, like the song itself is really good. The vocals are really good. It's a really interesting song when you look at the lyrics, and like dive deeper into that, which I highly recommend you do. But those moments where there's no vocals, it is just some of the most amazing sampling like I've ever heard in music. There's like something between 12 to 16 or 18 samples, but they're all little.
I think it's 14.
Yeah, something like that.
Based on the video that you sent earlier,
yeah. And I think they actually found another one after that video had come out. But it's like these little snippets, like these little like second-long snippets, and they are able to piece together this really musically interesting like house piece from it. It is wild, it is chaotic, but it is so well structured and put together that it's still musically interesting to listen to. It is a fascinating song that deserves a lot of respect. I'd probably put this somewhere in my 300s, maybe mid 300s.
Okay. I really like the song, and I might even have it higher.
Nice.
Even taking away the achievement aspect of it, I think this is an incredible groove, and especially given this album in particular, how many great beats are on it. I was amazed that I had never really heard this song before. But anytime in that video, like all the samples that it uses, it's like motherfucker.
Yeah.
Guys, like I thought Dr. Dre was the king of samples. Like no, it's Daft Punk. When you're able to take all these little pieces, make a salad out of it, but then it still kind of has the backbone of the Evil Woman, but it has these other little beats in it. It's an incredible groove. Very glad that you had this here. It's my favorite song of the bunch that you had.
Nice. And just like to name off, like to give you guys an idea of some of the songs that they sampled, there's like House and Pooh Corner by Loggins and Messina that's like structured in a way to make it sound like they're saying face to face. You've got the Alan Parsons Project, you've got Electric Light Orchestra, you got Steppenwolf. It's an amazing piece. But let's move on to an 80s classic, I would say, from a band that I think only these last couple years has finally started to get the respect that they've long deserved. Brooklyn, talk about I Want a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah, so Huey Lewis of the News kind of took the spot that Meatloaf had on the official list. So Meatloaf wasn't on, was on the official list, and then we kind of rectified it. So that, like I like to think sometimes it's like we did this list just so that Meatloaf got the proper love. But now,
That's part of
like,
it.
as we were doing this list, I was like, I didn't get a chance to get any Huey Lewis in the News. This is one of my mom's favorite bands. So I got introduced to them at a very young age. But I think of the Huey Lewis in the News songs, this is the one to recognize. That guitar lick is fucking incredible. To the point, even Ray Parker Jr. was like, what should I do with this song? But then, yeah, like Huey Lewis has such an incredible voice. Like it's that very saxophone-esque sort of delivery, and that's like the saxophones work so well, and especially when you get to that like that duo kind of solo. I think that's great, and it meshes with the groove so well. And then from lyrically, it kind of reminds me almost like of Money for Nothing from Dire Straits, where it has that like upbeat, but it's like I want a new drug, one that won't go away, one that won't keep me up all night, one that won't make me sleep all day, and then you get to that like chorus, like one that won't make me nervous, boom, wondering what to do, boom, and then you get that like it's still a payoff, one that makes me feel like I feel when I'm with you, and then the drum work also, like as I'm describing this song, is great. It's this. Yeah, I've used this analogy for one song in particular, but this is a jet ski song. It's very hard to be sad to listen to this song.
Yeah. So, fun fact: Huey Lewis and the News were originally supposed to write the Ghostbusters theme song, and then they took what they had and went, "We like this too much to give to you. We're gonna go make our own song," and it became "I Want a New Drug." Um, and then the producers and Ray Parker Jr. Basically took what was originally going to be the Ghostbusters theme song and then made the Ghostbusters theme song using Huey Lewis's chords. Uh, yeah, no. So as I alluded to before, I think Huey Lewis and the News has only started to really get the respect that they deserve in the last couple of years. I remember growing up and hearing them being like a cliche, like they're a dad band and they're kind of like lame, like soft rock and like no, they're not. And this song actually, I think, is one of the best examples of why they're not. They're really good at just like really great steady grooves, um, stuff that you know doesn't sound sleepy. It's got like a good beat and a good energy to it. Huey Lewis himself actually is just like a really talented singer. Um, yeah, this song, I'd probably put this one below oh god, why a Hip to Be Square. Because I personally love that one. But I think that this is a good choice as well. Where would you say that this would probably fall around? You are muted, sir.
I would say high 300s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's definitely in that top 40%.
Okay, I can see that. Let's move on to my last song. Bill Carriola is going to be very happy about this one. All Caps by Matt Dillany. So this is one that I've always liked this song. I started to gain a lot more appreciation for it these last couple of months. Um, First of all, Doom is just like an expert penman. The way that he like puts like triple rhymes in every once in a while is just like really great. I think that the production on this one is really, really interesting and unique. Um, like it's the kind of beat that I feel like a lot of other rappers would be kind of like nervous to try to rap over. And Doom's just like, here, give me that shit. Um, I really like Doom's flow on this. It is just, it's kind of loose, but it's still tight at the same time. Uh, the "Don't talk about my mom's" yo line is where the beat kind of drops for a second. Money, I love that moment. Um, and to think that most of this comes from one musical interlude of an old TV show called Ironside, to would just lead to this incredible beat. Um, yeah, it's a there's a lot of songs that you could choose off of this album, but this is the one that I tend to go back to the most often.
This song is cool. I really appreciate the style that it's going for because it's kind of a mishmash of Tribe Called Quest with the jazzy beats, and then you have Andre 3000 or not Andre 3000, Common with more kind of offbeat delivery, but then you have that low register, almost like the Notorious B.I.G. So you have that mishmash of it all, and it works. My only thing is I just need a little more time with it to try to really digest it because it's hard to digest in that first listen. So I do like what I'm hearing so far. My favorite line so far in the song has been shots of the scotch from out of square shot glasses, and he won't stop till he got the masses and show them what they know, not through flows of hot molasses. It's like, all right, yeah, you have me on this one. But yeah, we've talked about Madvillain a couple times with Dylan and whatnot. He's kind of like maybe Tech Nine for me, where I really respect his craft, but I haven't taken the time. I haven't taken time to pop on a random Madvillain album or an MF Doom album to really be okay, he is in that top 10 conversation that I think I'd say for half of casual fans, I would say have them in that conversation.
Yeah, something around there. Maybe a third, because Madvillain and Madlib are both musicians that I think are very, very well respected by people in the know when it comes to music. But if you ask the general public to name a Madvillain or MF Doom song, I think a lot of them would be who? Yeah. So yeah, mad respect to this song. Love this one. Brooklyn, let's go to your last one.
So we were joking on the show before that on the official list we have 2-ish mistakes. The whole "I will always love you" debacle, and then there was
that wasn't a debacle. We were right about that.
We were right about that. But yeah, but then I think there was one instance where we got the math wrong by one. This is the other one. So considering that we have less than 1% margin of error on our list is pretty good. This is a song that Andrew and I both had on our list that just got lost in translation or lost in the moving process. So whenever Andrew was like, "Hey, we should do the show," I was like, "Oh, this is a perfect time to bring up this moment." But yeah, at one point in my life, this was my favorite song. This is one of the first songs that I learned on guitar. It's a very pretty song by Stan Rogers. It's mostly just him and a 12-string guitar with a little bit of fiddle. I really like the verses in it, the opening line of where the earth shows its bones and wind broken stones and the sea and the sky are one. And it kind of has this story of meeting a girl while he's playing at a concert and you get to the line "Well, her smile lights your eyes, but honey, all I see is you." And then just the really tender moment when you get into the chorus, "I just want to hold you closer and I never held anyone before." This is one of the first songs that I learned from top to bottom. You get to the really cool moment in the third verse. The summer city lights will all alone in the lights on stage every night. I've been reaching out to find a friend who knows all the words. So he's wants to find somebody so that he can enjoy this music with someone. But yeah, you often I've heard people cover this before on just a ukulele, and that's really tender. But yeah, this is a standard kind of staple love song in the Maritimes, and how I've described Stan Rogers before, I've never heard. I described Stan Rogers as basically our version of Jim Croce, an incredible songwriter who was gone way too soon because actually also of a plane crash. But yeah, I try to celebrate him any chance that I can.
Yeah, so you introduced me to 45 years as we were making our lists. And it like just scraped onto mine because you're right, Stan Rogers is sort of like Jim Croce. I would also kind of throw James Taylor into the mix a little bit.
Yeah.
And the songwriting on this one just really stuck with me because it's very sweet, it's tender, it's very sincere, which is like the main draw of this song. Like, you genuinely believe that this is straight from the heart of Stan Rogers. Plus, she's got this beautiful baritone voice that just like really floats and flutters, and just like creates these beautiful melodies. Yeah, so like this is one that whoops on our part.
Oh well.
Yeah, so I think
we got the one Stan Rogers song on anyways. Like I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you got to have your number one song make the official list. That's great.
Hey, I know how to appeal. I know how to appeal to a Cody. If you just gotta stay close enough to country, or if you're not gonna go country, you just have to. I don't know. It's mostly country.
You have to have a jug and a jig.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I think that we can both agree that out of all the songs that we talked about on this episode, this is the one that we regret the most not making the official list. And I would say that one of yours, I would probably pick Slow Burn would probably my pick from yours.
Yeah, mine would absolutely be Face to Face with a close second of Turn the Page.
All right, guys. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I know this was a little bit of a different episode, but tune in next episode because, woo, things are going to be good.
I'm excited. To kind of tease beforehand because we always ask like how this section of the list is going. This is the first time where every single song is like I want to gush about it. I want to get into all the intricate details. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, and as we alluded to in the last episode, Cody is going to be making what he thinks is our top 10 in order from the songs that we have shown him. And then you want to tell him about our little side bet because I know you guys have been complaining.
It's not a side bet. It is my revenge.
It is.
I will get this right, and then you will suffer. Your Spotify will suffer the same way that mine did.
Tell them more about what the bet actually is.
So the bet is, if you remember, whenever we did like the individual lists, we asked Cody. We asked Cody who had the better songs or
between the two songs. Yeah.
Between the two songs, who had the better one? And then the loser had to listen to I think what was it, 10 or 20 songs?
It was 20.
20 songs for that week alone. And I can't listen to Fruit Salad anymore. I can't even look at Fruit Salad anymore. I can't listen to Justin Bieber. I can't listen to fucking Madonna. So yeah, I just want to make Andrew feel the way that I felt that week, and I think this is my best chance.
Yeah, so we are going to be making our own list of what we think Cody's list is going to look like.
How meta of us.
I know. We are Charles Kaufman. So, guys, thank you all for watching. We hope you got some new songs to listen to out of this episode that we highly, highly recommend. Tune in for the finale next episode. And until then, y'all, keep on rocking.
See you, bye.